able to like put your...
But you're a
entire-
veterinarian, you should know.
It's supposed to be like a septum in here.
Yeah,
and,
something.
like,
Septum.
Yeah.
I thought that.
Where is
was
your
the
septum,
name
Max?
of this.
Where is the septum?
it's like a...
Right.
It's got,
You know what? I think I'm just
Just
gonna
with
go
the
for it.
continuation.
Greetings, Urk, and welcome to Reddingdale Bewitched.
Yay!
Written and DM'd by yours truly, and played by, well,
Me! Linn! I play Ermelie Yoon, a young, very energetic forest gnome draconic bloodline sorcerer. As I said, yeah, she's very energetic, she likes her fire spells, and she is a dragon researcher. So we'll see what she gets up to this session.
nice, yeah. And also featuring
Gustaf and I play Maglor, the half-elven, who is a bard and obviously half-elf as well. And Maglor is quite the adventurer, always outside, always yearning about. Maybe on his own will, maybe not. You will maybe see it during the adventure. But the most important thing about Maglor is that he loves companionship, he loves coming up new phrases and words and also new songs.
Okay, great. And continuing on to
Maximillian. I'm playing a druid named Kench. He's a human guy. He has a cat that he loves, and he named the cat Mr. Mittens. It's an orange cat, obviously. And Mr. Mittens often gets Kench into some real trouble. But besides that, Kench loves to travel around, explore nature, explore new nature, and writing it down in his book. We don't know what he's writing in there, but I bet it's smart, because he's a very wise man.
right. Okay, thank you very much, Max. And finally we have
Anna.
Woo!
And I play Cornelius Dead, a half-elf warlock. He is pretty charismatic, or at least he thinks so. He might be a little bit manipulative, and he loves good manners. He's pretty soft-spoken, but he can get riled up, and this party sort of knows how to rile him up. So, yeah, you might see a bit of that today.
Oh, yes, and my name is Lucas. I didn't know, maybe the name tag didn't show. Oh, it did. Okay, sorry about that. Anyway, let's begin, I suppose. You guys, as a party, you have been traveling quite a lot together, haven't you? Yeah, been on several adventures, clearly, and I mean, the group dynamic is freaking tight. It's tight, I'm telling you, right?
It's on
Right, yeah. We definitely did not play just the one shot ahead of time to sort of establish.
Absolutely not.
Nah,
We've
that
been
never
playing
happened.
for
It's
years.
like our second campaign now, 3 years running.
Right, that's what I said as well, 3 years ago. No, wait,
The best journeys always travel together, as Maglor says.
Yeah.
And we know he says it.
right. So, without further ado, I suppose, the four of you, as previously stated, have been traveling together for quite a while, and crossing the Sword Coast, north to south and south to north and east to west, and all over you have seen your fair share of basically everything. And you're getting sort of content with your lot in life, and sort of starting to feel like the whole adventuring thing is too easy almost. Yet you keep on traveling, and you keep on saving people, defeating monsters, overthrowing monarchies and such, you know, the normal everyday sort of adventure stuff.
As you do.
As you do, right? This story takes place, well, I suppose currently in your lives. This is the latest tale of the Party 04. You know, I just realized that you guys don't have a party name. 3 years running and everything.
Gosh darn it.
Gosh darn it. You guys, you know what? Work on that during this session and we will see where it leads, right?
Hashtag well gang.
Woo, let's go! Right.
Well, gang.
So, sort of finishing up your latest great deed, the greatest adventure of a lifetime, you're wandering almost aimlessly following a lead for a mystery sort of whatever that somebody heard at a tavern a while back, but nobody has even started to question why it is that you are traveling so far up the mountains and so far away from society even. You're all just sort of following one another, and it's almost like, no, I'm following Kench. No, but Kench is following Ermelie, isn't he? Or like, what's going on here? Wandering.
Follow Mr. Mittens.
Mr. Mittens. Everybody's just following Mr. Mittens. But you're wandering almost aimlessly, just waiting for the next adventure to appear. And as a thought might strike you that life has gotten so boring lately and that you're just longing for that experience once more, to have a stranger come up to you and complain about something or other that you can help them with. Just then, you cross over into a small patch of grass atop one of several foothills bordering a valley that you have encountered through your travels here in the mountains. The valley itself is vast, and you can see that it would take at least a day or two to cross. Although you can still see the entirety of it being encompassed by the foothills and later on the mountains, sort of just growing out of the ground here, I suppose. There is a lake in this valley that, if you were to see it from above, would look almost like the very last part of wine still left in the goblet after a drinking binge. It closes off the southernmost point of the valley to the far south from here. Other than that, the entire landscape is completely green with lush forests, but mostly agricultural landscapes. You can see several small villages. What's the plural for villages? That doesn't matter. You can see several small villages scattered all about the landscape. And even more smaller houses, road houses and whatnot, all in between. And a Yule of a town placed right on the border of that landscape and the lake itself further on, with great walls of white limestone. Looking down upon this valley, you get a sense of wonder not often encountered. Maybe it's something to do with how the light strikes it, or that warm wind sort of contrasting the otherwise chilly and biting frost that you have encountered all over the mountains so far. But something about this valley, that you will later get to know as Reddingdale, is welcoming you as you're standing there on the precipice of it.
Mr. Mittens, you have done a very good job leading us here, I must say.
Meow.
It's a very wonderful little place we have found, isn't it?
It's very pretty. Good job, Mr. Mittens. I give him a little pat.
He's a good boy.
Like a lonely flower in a dark forest. Quite beautiful.
No.
Wonderful.
Well,
Again, there's no forest, but
It's. Well, no, there's trees over there.
yeah, but tree. You know, I know forests. That a couple of trees does not make a forest.
Dude, you're literally talking to a druid.
Dude, I'm
This is
literally
my
not
stuff.
a dude.
Girl.
Even a blind man can find his way in a dark cavern.
Yeah, because
Wise
the other
words.
sticks.
I think this valley is pretty beautiful and all, but it's ruined by all these fucking villages. Who put villages in my nature? I don't like that.
It's not your nature.
All nature is my nature.
But
I am nature. Nature. Me.
but is villages the word for plural villages?
I think so. This is like
Villages
one village,
or
many
villages?
villages.
Well, I'm not
it's
a
many
bookworm.
villages.
I don't know.
One does not need to read a book to know what the word is.
But what is the word then?
Villages. We just
Right.
established that.
That is questioning it.
As the party is sort of discussing the plural of villages, as it is properly pronounced, of course, they are traveling down a mountain path, down from the foothills into the valley, soon enough encountering a small road going from somewhere up above in the foothills down into the warmth and welcoming spirit of the valley itself, and all the fields of wheat and what do you grow in mountains? Potatoes, I suppose. Oh no, I'm just now realizing that my classmates are gonna pick me apart if they ever see this. You know what, never mind. There's like 2 or 3 nerds in my class, they won't ever see this. Sorry. Anyway, as you tread upon this road, you can almost immediately feel yourself getting interrupted, not only in your conversation, but also emotionally. In this serene corner even of the world, you get abruptly surprised? No, abruptly... Interrupted, thank you. By a wagon coming down the road from just above. As you turn to look, there is an oxen, there is the wagon, of course, upon which there is a man, about, well, how do you say that, like middle-aged sort of man, right? And a small boy upon a huge load of hay on that wagon coming down your way. And as soon as they see you, they start to wave. Hello there! How's it going?
Good evening, sir.
Very well met.
I want to clarify that it's like... No, it is evening. Actually, you got dead right.
Yes.
I forgot to say.
I know my times of day.
Of course. Must be that timepiece that you picked up the other session, remember?
Yes,
Yeah,
one.
that definitely happened.
Yes.
Yeah. Sorry, you were saying?
Well met, good sir.
Oh, well met! Yes, absolutely. Come on over, he says, as he sort of stops his oxen. What's the word for that in English? Veterinary students, please. He proves his oxen, and the wagon comes to a abrupt halt. And he steps away from it as his boy, that child upon the hay, starts to climb down. He shakes each, you know what, actually. Hello, nice to meet you all. My name is written down, and is...
Very well met, written down.
No,
I am Maglor.
that's not what I meant. My name is Emron, sorry, Emron Thatcher. Nice to meet you all. Yeah.
Nice to meet you as well, Mr. Thatcher.
Alright.
Yeah, well met, of course. This is my boy, Tio, by the way, Tio Thatcher.
Hi, Tio.
And there's
Hello.
this small boy coming up to you, maybe 9, 11 years old, somewhere around that range. His hair is almost one-to-one to the hay upon the wagon, and his face is blessed with no hardships ever, sort of clean cheeks and everything. There doesn't even look to have been a single tear rolling down those cheeks once in that boy's life. Although you can already now see, for anyone with a passive perception above 11, you could see that the hands of the boy is like his father's, almost a bit weathered and used to hard work. But, again, just like his father, he is still in a very good mood and makes a show of taking your hand and as strongly as he can, very much just shaking with his entire body, and tries to make your acquaintance. Hello, my name is Tio.
Well met, young Master Tio.
Yes, good day, young sir.
Good day.
Good day.
Hello. Sorry, I don't know how to. No, that's fine. Hello. Good day. Either or works. But although I suppose it's more of a good evening now,
It is
isn't it?
evening,
That
yeah.
is
Yeah.
true.
Are you heading down to one of the villages?
Yes, in fact we are. And I was just about to ask you all. You seem to be lost. No?
No.
Did you just come down the mountains, or how come you ended up here?
We were following one of our trusted companions who varies nature instead of wildness.
Look at that. You're traveling with a cat, are you?
Yeah, obviously.
Ah. I mean, it's a bit of a dangerous part of the world to be traveling with such a small feline.
No,
What's
Mr.
considering
Mittens
all
can
the...
take care of himself.
Yeah, well, if you say so. I mean, if you say so, I trust that that cat has some muscles and attitudes to him. Sorry, I didn't introduce myself. Emran Thatcher, very nice to meet you, sir. Mr. Mittens, was it? And Emran sort of leans back and gives a hearty sort of laugh after he greets the orange Mittens, Mr. Mittens. And yes, he continues on. This is sort of a road less traveled in the valley, hence why I'm asking, I suppose. Sorry, do you need a ride? We have plenty of space on the wagon. Like, do you need a ride away from here? We just came down from, we have a barn up here. It's not important, but we're going back to our village. That would be the village of Chickshire.
our ride would be very much appreciated. We have been
Fun.
working
Absolutely.
more miles than the Earth itself.
Really? You know what? That's actually pretty beautifully said. I won't even charge you for it. Go on, jump in the back. There's plenty of space. Right, Theo? Just make space. Yeah, throw away the hay. That doesn't really matter. Like, yeah. Yeah, yes, throw it off the road. Right there.
Can
Yeah,
I-
good boy.
Can I insight why this guy happens to be so friendly to us?
Of course. Go for it. The first roll of the day.
Ooh, it's not too good. 9.
That's 6 and a modifier of what?
3.
3. Okay. Good roll. Oh.
Well,
No, no, it's actually not. It could be better, but it's not the worst, right? And yeah, no. So you sort of look at Emran as every time he turns away from you, you're like, no, sorry. Right. So reading his face, reading his entire bodily language, you can discern that no, this is just a very happy man who happened to encounter a few nice-looking strangers upon his own travels, his own daily work, as it were.
Well, that's very friendly of you. I would very much like a ride, and I hop up in the wagon.
Yeah. A hayride. That's the word for it.
A very fine word indeed.
Yes. Have you all ever been on a hayride before? He says as he sort of, again, proves his oxen, who starts to chug along, and the wagon creaks to a start and rolls down the road.
Well, not really a hayride, but I have been in a carriage before, like a wagon that's similar to this one, or like it's several different ones, like maybe a chariot at one point, but not really a big wagon.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I see. Well,
I
it
wouldn't
can
say
be,
it's the first time, but
yeah. Sorry, your friend talks quite a lot, doesn't
She
he?
talks a lot.
You know what? You have a beautiful voice, Missy. I
you.
don't mind even a bit. And he
you.
sort of whips his oxen. Come on, Tommy. We gotta get home to Shakeshire in a jiffy. We need to get out of here anyway. Soon it's night, and these kind fellows and fellowesses need somewhere to sleep, don't you?
Yeah.
That would be
Yeah.
very much appreciated.
You see, most people in Reddingdale are often related or even just close friends. And since I don't know anybody that would probably ever know someone like you yourself, I expect that none of you have ever even been to Reddingdale before, have you?
I haven't.
I don't suppose.
Not yet.
I would remember. If
Very
I
well,
had.
very well. I hope I'm doing your first meeting with Reddingdale villagers and residents fair service.
You've been very welcoming. If,
Oh.
as you say, everyone else is going to be as friendly as you are,
Oh,
then I'm sure it's going to be great.
You're quite charming, Emily. You're quite charming indeed.
Do you
Well-
need any help?
No, that's fine. It's just an oxen. He knows the way home
Yeah,
anyway.
I
I don't even know why I'm sitting right here. You know, actually, let me climb up there. And he sort of turns around and climbs up onto the hayride himself as well. And the oxen, Tommy, the oxen, drives you all the way down the road. And soon enough, it all opens up before you. The fields take over your entire field of view, except for maybe the darkening, purplish night sky. Oh, sorry, evening sky. And the mountains bordering land and sky on the horizon.
I would like to play a little song as a payment of some kind. Can I roll for performance?
Of course.
I
of
cast
course.
guidance.
Guidance.
That's the
There we
D4,
go.
right? The D4 first. 3 plus nat 1 plus 8. So that's actually...
Natural one.
it is a nat 1, but total it's 12.
You know what? That's not bad for a nat 1. Yeah, let's hear it. Can you give sort of an impression of the...
Yes! 'Cause you are the most beautiful girl in the room, the whole wide room. When I see your face, I look at that face, the most beautiful girl in the...
Emran sort of climbs down to his seat with Tommy again, because again, I mean, he needs to take responsibility. His son is on the hayride after all, but as he does and he starts to whip Tommy, he sort of realizes that that's not necessary. Tommy's sort of trying to escape that haunting sound coming from the hayride. Although Emran himself and Tio, by the way, are not entirely affected by it, let's say. You can see Emran for a moment doing sort of a cringing sort of motion with his face, but otherwise, yeah, sort of like, yeah, go for it. Woo! Nice. Actually, could you just tune it down just a little bit? I like to hear the evening birds and the crickets and my own thoughts. And the hayride goes on. Yeah. And soon enough, before you lays Chickshire, a small village set ways into Reddingdale. As far as you can see, the village itself is quite compact and densely populated with all sorts of people, mainly humans, but you can see a halfling or two and even a dwarf. Most of them come out into the road or out of their houses. They open up their windowsills sort of to greet you all as they can hear the wagon coming down. And you get a lot of, "Hello, Emran! Hello, Tio!" and "Hello, strangers! Nice to see you!" "Who are they? I don't know who they are, but I like them." And all sort of...
That guy was pretty cool.
Yeah!
Hi there. Hello.
God, I destroyed my voice. Yeah. And I'm touching my mic as well. This is
I don't know you either, but I like you too.
Where we met, you fine people.
Yeah.
And I love you, random citizen.
Yeah, and everyone in Chickshire are sort of greeting you the same way that Emrand and Tio did, with healthy amount of welcoming spirit and happiness, completely unfounded so far, yet giving to you freely. Every single person in the village that you so much as lay your eyes upon gives you a huge smile coming from the bottom of their soul. And they share with them this wonderful spirit of small town or even just village life and living, which you are just now sort of starting to realize that whatever it is, you'll have some of that. Thank you very much. As the summer bloom is disappearing into the early night, however, Amran pulls up to one of the storage houses at the far end of the village main street, and a few other villagers approach with pitchforks to help unload the hayride, and Tio does his best as well to sort of take entire armsfuls to just sort of walk away into the storehouse, and everybody gets to work.
I'm gonna help them.
Go ahead, you don't have to do a check or anything. Even the slightest amount of work is much appreciated. You know what, actually do a strength check. I want to see where it goes. We have one nat 1 already, so that would be...
Well, that's a natural 20.
That's a nat 20, okay!
One.
Never mind. You know, actually, you were playing as... What was your race again?
I'm a forest gnome. I'm
A
very
gnome, right.
Very small.
So as you're trying to step off the hayride, do you have a beard?
No.
Ah,
I
crap.
do not.
Shucks. Your classic gnomish pointy shoes get caught in the hayride itself, and you sort of tumble. But as you start to tumble off the hayride, there is a man or two sort of launching themselves forward to help you, to save you. And as they do, they sort of go straight into the hayride, which sort of shakes loose somehow, and Tommy gets scared, and a lot of small things sort of happens. And the hayride itself sort of tips just a little bit. And that's enough for most of the hay to sort of fall off straight into the storehouse. Most of the work already done. And a few people just stand around like, "Oh, that was easy. How about that? Well, you know what? We should get more gnomes in here."
It's no problem. Are you okay?
I turned to the guy who tackled the wagon.
Yeah.
Are you okay?
No, that's fine. Thank you very much. I'm just glad to help, actually. Yeah. And thank you for that with the hayride and everything.
Yeah, no
Much
worries.
appreciated.
It's totally on purpose.
Yeah, I
Really
noticed, and
feels
using my body, such a wonderful idea. I am quite a heavy guy. I should lay off the sausages.
Really, I think it was mostly because you helped. It was mostly.
No, it was entirely you. Anyway, sorry, I have to talk to my wife now. And he walks away. Yeah. With the work of the hayride done, Amrand is quick to invite you all to a evening sit. Not really dinner, not really any sort of established anything really. Just a sit down after a hard day's work. You deserve a couple of drinks and maybe a snack or two, just chilling out with the boys, sort of thing. And he invites you all to sit by the fence where there is an established fireplace already lit with himself, Tio, and a few other villagers. Oh, and also, he has a daughter who at this point should be included into the activities, whose name is also written now. Give me a moment. Nelna. Nelna.
No.
Yeah, that works better in Swedish, doesn't it?
One L or two?
Just the one. Nelna? Nelna.
No.
Whatever. Nelna. She's about 12 years old. Just a hair older than Tio. And yeah, Emran passes around a couple of non-alcoholic drinks of your own choosing. They have several. They have apple juice, they have pear juice, they have non-alcoholic beer somehow, of several varieties. Like, he busts out the entire cooler for you guys.
Got beer with non-alcoholic.
Yeah, of course, I have all of the beer, like non-alcoholic. We had a alchemist come through not too long ago. He lives in another village, and he sort of de-alcoholized all of our beer. I think it was meant as sort of a malicious prank sort of thing, but you know what? That worked out wonderfully. All the kids can drink beer instead of eating dinner now, and we have that in common, me and my kids. So, I mean, that's great. So, yeah, we have all of it, all of the beer.
You're teaching our kids to drink beer?
Yeah, non-alcoholic. It's no big deal. Anyway, here. And he sort of gives you a tall glass of non-alcoholic. It smells like a dwarvish brew. Something that would normally be way above the pay grade of a normal hayride driving villager farmer sort of man.
This tastes like shit.
Yeah, I know, right? It's horrible. Yeah, I don't like it either. Sorry, I tried to make you drink it all. But like, if you don't like it, we can just give it to the pigs.
But you say that you loved it very much, and you
Yeah,
and your family.
not that particular one. Sorry. Actually, the pigs and the kids, they don't know how beer is supposed to taste, so we sort of give them all the varieties, and they just drink it because we say so. It's almost like a small prank on the kids, isn't that right, Theo?
And on the pigs.
Yeah, on the pigs, but I mean, they are sort of...
Why'd you prank the pigs?
Pigs like
Actually, you know what? Should we talk about something else?
A small lie blooms like the greatest tree.
Yeah, Emran is sort of stumbling because he realized that he was talking himself into a corner. But Theo, anyway, sort of takes your glass as you're not looking, the one that tasted so bad, and he starts to chug it down. So like you're getting topped by this 11-year-old boy. Just sort of
Hey boy.
away with that.
Hey boy. What's
Yeah?
your name?
Theo.
Theo.
Hmm?
Wanna see a magic trick?
Yeah, sure.
And I turn invisible.
Oh, Dad, he disappeared. Did you see that? And he
And as
sort of slurs on his words, even though it's non-alcoholic.
As
Maybe
soon-
nobody told him that it's
As soon
non-alcoholic.
as the dad looks over, I turn visible again.
And Emran, like, as soon as Emran sort of gives a slight glance your way, you're there all of a sudden, and Theo like, what? No, Dad, he... Theo, it's not nice to tell lies, you know this.
Are you sure that's non-alcoholic? He starts seeing things. I think he's drunk.
Yeah. The night sort of progresses in that way. Small jokes being played left and right, a lot of drink being had, nobody getting rough at all. Nobody's even getting a slight tinge of unpleasantness. You know that there's always someone in a larger party that drinks a little bit too much and they start to make comments about the election this year and all that. Nobody does that. Everybody's just doing fine. Everything is wonderful. Everybody's doing good.
Working day to night, just a way to make a living.
I'm going that.
Is everyone doing good?
Roll for it.
Woo! 21.
Wait, what did you do?
Oh, a 21.
Insight. Is everyone doing okay?
As the night progresses, you start to realize that there is... That was insight, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yes. There is this sort of aura of putting on a brave face. Not necessarily trying to look happy and be happy for the sake of having guests or just being happy, but more, well, yes, putting on a brave face. And that's mostly noticeable in the face of Emran, whom you're set right beside. Actually, around the fire pit, we can just assume that it's sort of this coalition, constellation of seats, like you two there, Tio, Emran, and Nelna. And all the other villagers sort of walking around, leaning over the fence, looking at the cows, sort of thing. Yeah, and you can see that Emran is putting on this brave face very much because his children are present. And a few of the other villagers are not even at this point looking over at you guys. It seems like the adults' mood has been starting to take a dip as the world around you grows darker, the walls of blackness climbing over the mountains and closing in for each passing minute, bringing with it this solemn sort of nature to all the adults as soon as the children are not seeing them like in correct light or whatever. Like the other villagers, there's 2 of them standing right over here by the fence. You can see that they are sort of trying to talk in a hushed voice away from you all. What was your passive perception?
17.
And was there somebody else with a higher?
I have 12.
Okay, let's say that your pointy ears?
No.
Nah, your rounded normal
Human ears.
sort of human ears.
Literally anyone else.
God. Okay.
I think
Your rounded little ears catches a word or 2. But it's not really the words themselves that bring with them that feeling of solemnness or even what's the word I'm looking for?
gloom.
Gloom. Yeah, that's a good word for it. But it's the tone that they're using and how they're trying to divert it away from the children and so on. Yeah, sorry, a long explanation, but that's the result of your insight.
But the children are still moving in the same area. They're staying by the fire.
Yes, quite. Tio right here beside his father is still drinking heavily. He has a problem. And Nelna right beside him is playing with a straw doll. Which she is lightly sort of mending, putting in new straw where it's needed, giving her a small skirt and everything. She hasn't said much during the evening, but that's mostly because she's shy, at least as far as you can tell. Yes, and that's where we're at. At this point, you're closing in on maybe 11 o'clock in the evening, although nobody probably in this entire valley even has a timepiece, because why would you need it? You go up with the sun and you go to bed with it, so... Except for tonight, of course. They have guests. What do you do?
Light up my pipe.
I want to cast. Let's see, what would be best? I want to cast minor illusion, like on right above the fire, to kind of create like a little play of like little fiery dragons, like making the prestidigitation or minor illusion, whichever would work the best.
Yeah.
To make it seem like little like dragons are playing in the fire, and that kind of to distract the children, to make them like look at that and think that that's exciting.
As soon as one of those mythical flying lizards appear above the flames, Tio is immediately up on his feet, throwing the rest of whatever he was drinking aside. Nella, look, right there above the fire! And he sort of runs towards it, and the fire is just a couple of feet ahead of you, and he runs up to the fire and sort of walks along the sides of the fire pit and tries to almost catch the dragon as Nelna approaches and sort of, no, don't do that.
Don't touch the fire.
Don't touch the fire. Basic knowledge. And Emerald is a bit taken aback, sort of just looking at the dragon, almost mesmerized, and a genuine little smile is appearing on his face for him and all the other adults nearby. But yeah.
And then I want to kind of like scooch closer to Emerald, and
Psst. Erin, is everything okay? I'm getting like a sort of feeling among like all the adults that like something bad is gonna happen, or like people are. You're all being very friendly and very welcoming, and I'm kind of wondering, are you doing this every night or just because we are here? But it's very nice. But is everything okay?
Yeah, it's quite fine. Thank you. You don't have to lower your voice or anything. I don't understand why you're... Are you concerned about something, maybe?
Yeah, I'm just getting a feeling that people seem a little bit worried about something.
Oh,
I don't know,
don't
maybe
be
people are
concerned,
just
my dear.
tired. Maybe I'm just overreacting.
Yes, quite. Don't be too concerned, normally. We are all doing quite fine. Right, kids, aren't we? And Tio and Nelna, they don't bother even to look over. They're completely transfixed by the dragon.
At this point, can I also roll insight to see if he is telling the truth?
Of course.
14 plus addition, yes. 16.
16. He's very much not telling the truth, no. He's again putting on that brave face, but it's a thin facade. Yeah.
Emerin, even the mightiest of trees need to shed its leaves.
Not if it's a pine.
Beautifully said, my dear fellow, but I am sorry,
It is actually quite
I don't quite understand.
Even in the darkest of caverns, a light will shine. And when it does stop, one needs to take a step back.
Right.
My good sir, you tell us what is going on. We can obviously see that something is not good.
We're not just travelers who just wandered and got lost. We are adventurers, and we're kind of going around looking for if people need help. And
Yeah, we're pretty bored.
yeah, what he said.
Yeah, it's sort of like that, but with a few finer words.
Yeah, I'm not really good with words. It's his
You're
job.
great with words.
Nah, it's
Don't
just
say that about yourself.
Mr. Mittens better.
Mr. Mittens is amazing at words.
Hey, listen to Mr. Mittens. Meow. Stop
And he
really
sort of
much.
calls Tio over and tells him something in a very low voice, and with a smile and a point he tells Tio and Nelna in extension to go away, and they sort of go indoors again, back at their hut. Just a stone's throw away. And just as he does this, the more perceptive of you guys, let's say everybody, notice how all of a sudden you're very much alone with Emrand. You can tell that the other adults also sort of scattered, and all of a sudden it's like the world is empty but the flames and the distant sounds of crickets and the occasional owl. Barn
I think it's
owl.
bedtime.
Where did
Oh god, Barn
everyone go?
No, it's bedtime.
The occasional scream of the barn owl.
It's bedtime.
You heard Barn Owl? It's like the least peaceful
Okay.
owl.
Okay, maybe I don't.
That did
I
not
think
sound
someone's
like an
dying.
Is that Clang?
I've never heard an owl like that before.
Right. Okay.
It's a winter owl.
Back to where we were, maybe. Right. Okay. So maybe not a, but more of a.
God, it's a fox!
No, it's an ostrich.
Actually, a fox.
Is it a bird? Is it a plane? No, it's an ostrich.
Is that what you're so worried about?
No.
They fly.
So Emran sort of leans in and sets his arms on his knees and stares into the fire for a bit. A bit perplexed, maybe, but his thoughts still wander closely ahead, and he's not entirely set out of the situation. He's still very much aware. And as somebody, it doesn't really matter who, makes a small movement, maybe to say something, maybe to intervene in some way, he reacts. Adventurers, was it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Very much so.
You know, I've never seen adventurers coming to Reddingdale, at least not to Shikshire, before.
But you haven't seen us.
Well, yes.
Now he have seen us thanks to Mr. Mittens.
Yeah, good job, Mr.
Yeah, it was
Mittens.
all because
Good
of
job.
him.
Thank you, Mr. Mittens.
We owe a lot to him.
Yes.
You know, we could actually use your help, maybe.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah, quite. Yes, yes.
In
Yes.
what way?
See, we have had this, this trouble brewing in Reddingdale for quite a bit.
Oh, really?
Yeah, for a few decades at this point, I believe.
Oh.
A monster, a curse, diplomatic discourse. What?
Oh no, my dear, it's not.
We need to overthrow the
Well, there's
government.
no, we don't necessarily need to overthrow anything.
A song needs to be made.
Look,
Song of
He's really good at
heroism.
that.
look, it's just. So it happens every 30-ish years. Once every man age, we used to say. Once every third or fourth generation. That Reddingdale is beset by a series of strange, unnatural events.
Like what?
Well, it happens all throughout the valley. I haven't heard all of it. I can only speak for what's happening in Shikshire and just about, and up in Greybrook as well. But other than that, I mean, so the fish are not fighting anymore. We've had cattle escaping, like very much breaking through their barriers and running off into the countryside, costing us hours of work. Our chickens are laying eggs filled with milk. We've seen pigs climb trees. Few people over in the Windrip. That's the town over by. Well, they are getting sick anyway. Purple spots and speaking in tongues, even backwards sometimes, and they don't seem to be able to stop. But worse yet is that no matter what happens, every time that this happens, as far as I've understood it anyhow, there's this series of kidnappings. Always 6 or 7 children, never more, never less than either or. They start to disappear, and nobody ever really notices what happens. One second they're there, and the other second they're not. It happened up in Greybrook just the other day, and everybody's... I mean, strange things can happen. We even have an old man over by who remembers a dragon flying by and in his childhood.
A what?
Oh, a dragon.
What kind of dragon?
She
I
really
wouldn't know.
enjoys dragons.
Was it metallic one? Was it chromatic one? Do you know what breath weapon it had?
Oh, my dear, you would have to
Ancient?
talk to him.
Young? Adult? Which one? Was it a worm?
He was
Ermely.
quite young when this happened.
Was it far away? Because if it was far away, it might have looked like a...
Ermely, my friend. Maybe you can talk about the dragon some other time.
I would really like to talk about the dragon right now.
Yes,
Just
but
tell the
there's
story.
children missing, and there's occult stuff and strange stuff happening, and I'm quite invested, and I would like to hear the somewhat young man out.
Thanks. Yeah. Children
Yes.
going missing.
Yes.
And everybody's on edge, worrying for their own. Some, my own mother included, are even worried about us adults disappearing this time. Apparently the symptoms in the valley, symptoms, have been getting worse since last time it happened.
This sounds a lot like curling.
Curling?
What's curling?
It's quite weird.
Never heard of it.
Is it a food or?
It's like people throwing rocks on ice. Really weird.
Why would you do
That
that?
does sound a bit weird.
You're gonna break the ice.
I do not get it. So but this and curling is absolutely signs of.
You know what? You should actually
Famous.
show us that. That would be wonderful to have at our winter festival this year or the next or whenever we get to it again.
Can I do a nature check to see if there's any sign of kind of a natural phenomenon causing these stuff that happen to the animals specifically?
Naturally. Do you want to do it like going back, thinking back on the day, or just around yourself right now?
No, I'm focusing on what he said about the animals doing
Okay.
weird stuff, not biting, escaping and stuff.
Yeah. Go for it.
I give myself guidance.
Eggs filled with milk.
Could you give yourself guidance?
Naturally.
13.
13. There's nothing really that stands out. You sort of get the notion that none of this is natural whatsoever, which is, I mean, perceived by everybody. Yeah. So your attempt was fruitless, I'm afraid.
Do you know if there's any records of this happening? If you say it happens once every 30 years, if you have like a library or such.
Yes, do we have a library? I was going to ask that, actually.
I don't know. We don't have one here in the village. There might be one in Windrip. But no matter. Old folk are typically not common in the valley. We don't have a terribly long life expectancy. Something in the water apparently
You
doesn't
don't
really
think they kidnap
matter.
the old people too? Like they kidnap the children?
Oh dear, no.
Do you
Well,
keep
most
track of
people
them?
live to the ripe old age of about 50 and then we sort of die.
Oh my god, that is nothing.
On the day exactly or around?
So the children, anyway. There's been 6 of them taken so far, so we're afraid that it might. Oh well, sorry, not afraid. Relieved almost that it might be over soon. Over tomorrow, even if we're lucky. But if we're unlucky, there's still 1 child to be taken.
Yeah, I was a little bit confused about that because you said it was 6 to 7 children, never more, never less. But implying that there's 6 to 7 children kind of by itself implies that there's more or less. So I'm kind of like, which one is the most? Is there usually 7 children?
Maybe it's easier to understand if you hear the legend. It's a very short one, so don't worry about that. But the legend itself sort of tells a tale of an old woman once arriving in Reddingdale, at a time where the only village was Windrip, over by the sea, by the lake. Sorry. At that time, a very old lady appeared, and she was apparently a sorceress of some kind, and she cursed our land for a particular reason. I don't remember what. It was something about love and romance and such. You know how it goes, young people and whatnot.
Well,
Although she was
different
quite
plot lines.
old.
It's very important.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know what kind of sorcerer she was?
No, she was. This is very old. I mean, I barely remember the gist of it. But anyway, she sort of arrives and she curses the land and whatnot. And apparently, in order for the land to be not cursed and us being able to live here in such harmony, there has to be a certain sacrifice, which are the children. But the children have different value, apparently. If you ask me, it's quite disgusting. Some people talk about their ages, some people talk about how fat they are. But that's why you need a certain amount of children that may differ because children have different values and such. And yeah,
That is
it's something
pretty
along those lines. Yeah, quite, yeah.
In like all dimensions, that is messed up.
You don't have to raise your hand, my dear.
It's an out of character question.
Oh, go for it.
Maglar being quite well traversed and well knowledge in legends and songs.
Yeah.
Can he roll some sort of like check that check for more like information and details about this legend that is not mentioned?
You do a history check. Nobody ever gets to do a history check, but you know what? Let's go for it.
History, 22.
22. God. So you've heard certain legends that might compare to this one. I mean, the setup itself is quite generic and so on. In your expertise, in your infinite knowledge and whatnot, you would recollect that most legends adhering to this sort of stiff structure that is typical, again, are mostly made in metaphorical ways to sort of imply imply why it is that 6 to 7 children are being stolen away and whatnot. But concerning this particular legend, you would only really assume that there is something more beyond the legend of this old sorceress, and not that there maybe was a sorceress, but rather that there was a catalyst. Maybe a person, maybe a sorceress that caused this reoccurring plague of the land to start. And yeah, that's sort of what that's your conclusion here. So, to recap, you don't really believe necessarily that there was a sorceress, but the points of a catalyst, maybe being a person, a value of children, and a sacrifice, those points seem to be vital in a way.
Just so I get it clear for me as well, what he meant by the curse and the sacrifice.
Yeah.
Is the curse itself like the animals and such getting sick, and then the sacrifice is the children, and then as soon as the children are kidnapped, that curse is prevented, or that curse is gonna get worse?
So Emerald is trying to get the point across that the occurrence of all of these bewitchments, all of these strange occurrences, these magic occurrences, if you so will, are more of a precursor and something that happens in the background to the larger, more dangerous subject of children going missing. Yeah.
But kind of a hint of a curse that could be worse if the children didn't go missing.
Perhaps.
Maybe.
That he does not imply necessarily, but if that's how you want to read it, then go for it.
How many villages did you say there were in this area?
Villages.
Yes.
Villages.
Was it around
A total in the valley would be about 5. And then there's the town of Windrig as well. Now, I've mentioned Shikshire, where you are presently, and Greybrook, but there's also 3 other villages. I said villages, not villages. I'm so proud of myself.
Wait, 5 villages and 1 town.
Yeah, exactly.
Mr. Emerald.
Emerald.
Yes. Did you say the curse?
Yeah.
You have to do a sacrifice of children.
No, we don't do anything like that.
Well,
We
you said
simply
it
call it a
required a
sacrifice because
sacrifice.
that's what it's called in the legend.
So, if you sacrifice the children, it will be fine.
We don't. We
They
never
don't
tried
want us
that. No, Why would we do that?
Because then you get rid of the curse. I mean, if it's happening under 30 years, 100 years, like
Maybe it's a
20
ideal,
children.
better left for another generation.
sacrifice 10 children now, get this thing over with.
But wouldn't that logically only be 2 times? Since it 6 to 7. That should be 1.5 times and not forever. Since this has been going on.
And maybe just
Those were
sacrifice
decades.
no children. Maybe is my suggestion.
No, because it would not work. Because after 1.5 generation, they would be back with the children napping.
Oh, you sacrifice them and the kids come back.
How?
Why
Is
would
it
you-
6 to 7 children over all of the villages or per village?
Oh,
For
that's
the valley.
For
For
the
the map.
valley.
Yeah, typically it only affects the villagers, though.
There's like 2 children
Is it
per
like a couple per,
village.
like, since there's like
Yeah.
5 villages?
There's
plus
no
the
real
town?
pattern to it.
There's no pattern.
No.
But does it usually happen at night?
Whenever, really.
Have you tried tying up the kids? With
You've
the
been
big
Yes,
very
rope?
drastic for this.
No, yes, we actually have.
Oh.
I shame my
Yeah,
own
see.
children every night.
Oh,
Understandable.
Yes, we shame them.
Understandable.
Jackal.
It's per tradition. Although I fear that it might not do too much to the supernatural forces laying behind this.
But have you kept count of how many children that goes kidnapped? I'm trying to figure out when there is a 7th child.
The timing is arbitrary, as far as we know. I mean, it happens on random, pretty much always. The other week, 3 children disappeared at once. As far as we could tell, like, at once. They were at different parts of the valley, working, helping out, and they were just gone.
Nothing left behind at all?
Never, no. Not even footsteps.
Does Cornelius can he attempt to recall something about this regarding like a ritual he knows about that you need children or something like that? He's a
Go for it.
sage, so
Yeah, that would be Arcana.
Guidance.
yes, guidance. Okay.
Is guidance a cantrip here? Or?
Yes,
Okay.
he seems to know nothing, but 9.
Right. No, sorry. You said it. As Cornelius ponders and thinks to himself, even makes a couple of notes, there is nothing really to be marked down. There's nothing that he recollects that could fit the description, really. That could help.
I've never really heard of anything like this before. This is something new. And to be quite frank, it excites me. It's not...
I've never seen you this riled up, Cornelius.
The old man is getting excited.
Yes,
Yeah.
I am
Even the
very
old lion knows how
pumped
to
up,
hunt.
as someone could say. I'm sorry.
Even the old lions knows how to hunt.
Yes, precisely.
So, as you are discussing and thinking and asking questions and such, you can tell that Amaranth is getting increasingly sleepy, and at a certain point, he sort of leans back, weighed down by all the questions and all the conversation. Although he does not seem to note that it's somehow affecting him negatively.
Mr. Emerald.
Yeah.
Mr. Emerald.
Yeah.
You said you needed adventures. What do you need our help for?
So see, that's the point. I'm going into Windrift tomorrow.
Oh.
Yeah, and in Windrift there's a lot more people, and thus, you see, Windrift itself is a trading post, a large one, down the river through the lake. There's more people to converse with, and perhaps look for clues, perhaps find a way to to just make it stop. To make our children safe again. It would be a huge service, not only to me and my family, but to the entire valley.
I mean, yeah, we're definitely. I want to go to Windward right away because you mentioned there was a library there. And where did you say that friend of yours who saw the dragon? Where was he also in Windward?
No, that's over in Greybrook. That's that's the opposite way.
Darn it. Can we walk by there later, maybe? Your friend, they saw the dragon over there, or your friend is over there at birth?
I wouldn't know. He was quite the child, and now he's quite the old. So I don't know if he even remembers. Sorry, I'm getting very tired. I'm having a hard time keeping my eyes open.
I understand, sir.
Yes, I
We
would
shall
have
not
to.
take up any more of your time. Where shall we sleep for the night?
Oh, you can sleep in the barn on the hayloft. Yeah,
Oh.
it's quite comfortable, warm even.
Oh, you don't have like a bed or
A bed.
something a bit
My dear, no, my dear man, no beds. I don't even know anyone who has a bed. Beds are not really a thing in Reddingdale.
All right, then
Yeah.
the barn will do. Thank you very
Yeah,
much.
yeah.
Good sir.
I mean, we have some blankets on the floor. They are quite warm indeed, and my children are like little fires themselves, heating stones even. You're welcome to join us on the floor in my home, but we don't have too much space necessarily.
Okay, yeah.
I'm okay with the hillock. I would borrow you my bedroll, but it's very small.
I have my own bedroll. Thank you very much, my dear.
You can have mine.
Master Thatcher, you should be really known as the master of generosity.
That's very generous of you.
I'm very
Thank
kind
you.
to us.
It's the least I can do
I can
for
turn into a horse.
for a
Sleep in the
few
barn.
good-hearted
Feels
adventurers.
pretty good.
When are we leaving tomorrow for
Oh
Windward?
yes, I will bring Nelma with me. You see, most of the children who are stolen away are girls, and Theo is under the guarding eyes of my brother and his farmhands, which I trust very much. But Nelma, she's a milkmaid typically, and she works alone most mornings. She usually does anyway, when it's not, well, when we're not bewitched, as it were. So we will bring her with us, and she starts working before the sun comes up, so yeah, early morning.
All right.
To cheer this Emerin up, I would like to play a little tune about another village that's actually broke the curse on
Go
there.
for it, go for
I
it.
think he just wants to go to bed, Maglor.
Yeah, he's already on his feet walking away, but he can be entranced, absolutely.
Yeah, Cash is walking
21.
away as well. He's going to the barn.
Sorry, what was that?
21.
21! God!
Cornelius is
Okay,
sitting
go for
down.
it.
Now I actually need to come up with something. There once was a town in faraway lands. The terrible curse came down on the land. But one day a mighty father broke it to save his only daughter.
You don't know if you had only one daughter. You should have asked first.
Oh, sorry,
That was beautiful.
Was that it? I was quite enjoying the song, actually. I could stay up for a bit longer if you continue playing.
Absolutely. I think it's just me and him sitting down
Yeah.
and
At the end of the night, it's just Ermund and
Maglor.
Maglor. Is it Maglor or
Maglor.
God.
Magalor.
Maglor.
Yeah, Maglor.
Maglor.
Maglor the half-elven.
Yeah, so it's just Emerald and the half-elven sitting by the fire until the very last licks of fire is extinguished by time itself, and you have to carry Emerald into his house and sort of put him down with his children and put a little blanket on him, and then you can go to bed, or the hayloft.
I leave a nicely written poem at the end of his bed.
I'll include that in the 21 for performance and say that it's a poem for the ages. Yes, very good. So, the night passes almost as soon as you close your eyes. In a way, it's almost strange how deeply you sleep. Dreamless sleep. Fully encompassing your entire spirit and body, so that when you wake up in the hayloft, not even being entirely aware of where you are, you feel very much well rested and ready for a new day, I suppose. And you do wake, not on your own accord, but by a sound. and you realize that it's Nelma, just below you, where the cows are, by the way.
Cow.
Yeah. And she is done milking. We can head out now.
Oh, good morning.
I wanna slide down the haystack.
The haystack? No,
I'm at the top.
it's an actual loft, and then there's hay up on that. But what
I
you
want-
can do is jump down into what you brought in yesterday, like that pile.
Yes.
Do a flip!
I do a flip.
Oh my god, that's athletics.
Oh shit.
No, acrobatics, sorry,
Okay,
acrobatics.
that's better.
Yeah.
Still not great though. That's a 10.
A 10! Okay, you get sort of halfway through it, but you land in a slight angle, so you sort of slip into the hay. You don't take any damage or anything, but it looks kind of clumsy when you do it.
You know those like Olympics. Sadly, I wasn't accepted into the Olympics videos. One of those diving ones, kind of.
Ah.
Yes.
That looked pretty fun. I want to do that as well.
Oh, go for
Let me
it!
get out of here first.
Yeah, she did
already
not. She did not get out of it. 15. Okay. You do a somersault and land right beside Emily very gracefully,
I
and
bounced up.
sure, you bounce up a bit.
I'd rather roll myself out.
That was fun.
Right, how do you guys get down from the hayloft? Being on the subject at all?
I take the most normal way down, please. I don't remember how I got up here yesterday. I am quite tired, alright?
Yeah, there's a ladder. So you
I
just,
take the ladder.
Actually, Maglor will also jump while. Actually, let's roll first and see if I can say it
You
while
gotta see what you
jumping.
want to do.
Do a backflip.
Yeah, I want to jump, and while I'm saying jump, I want to tell what was her name again? Nelma. That hard toil strengthens the bodies and hard work strengthens the mind.
Wonderful.
While I'm jumping.
Alright.
Do you want an acrobatics?
Let's get a drum roll, actually. And yes, I want an acrobatics. That is a nat 1, people. Nat 1. That's second one of the game from the same guy.
Hey, the gym.
As you
Dice prison, maybe?
That goes in dice
Yeah,
jail right
Dice
now.
jail, go for it.
as you know, Maglor. So what's it called? I jump to bring out the loot. Hard work. Right to the floor. Right on the floor.
Right,
I suggested
That was very great.
yeah, go for it.
he face plants into the haystack that Ken just already landed in, which makes him bounce on Emily who's already fallen.
Absolutely, that is in fact what happens. The entirety of the knowledge-filled head of our good friend Maglor dives into the hayloft, leaving the rest of the body to hit the floor, taking fall damage, by the way, and launching Kench up into the air just a little bit, sort of whoop, and landing on Emily.
No, not the time!
Neither Kench or Emily takes any fall damage, but Nelma gets a good laugh.
And that's why you take the ladder, says Cornelius as he takes his last step down the
The
ladder.
ladder, the steps are too wide apart for me. Ow! Can I get off, please?
I believe it's just a 1d6 for because it's just above 15 feet high.
Yes.
Yeah.
6 in damage.
6 damage! Yeah.
I did not land.
You're
No one
wrong.
deserves to go in.
I don't have that many dice.
As you are falling, you are
The
sort of
tiny
trying to
two.
save yourself by bending over. So as you land, you almost crush your wrists and also hit your knees quite heavily on that packed earth flooring, and also into a slight bit of cow dung.
Emily, I think I found the dice here.
How dare
Show
you?
it to the camera.
How dare you?
That dice could escape.
Just for reference, this is
That's true.
a D12.
Safe in there.
The ones for Emily, the gnome, and this is a normal D12.
Yes.
So
Pretty
as
cool.
you get out of the hay barn, yeah, all of it. Ermund is already waiting for you with the same wagon as yesterday, although entirely unloaded, and he has even put out a few blankets and sitting stools on the wagon so that you can sit more comfortably on your ride to Windrick.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Tommy.
Yeah, everyone in the village. Like, you know that first scene in Beauty and the Beast?
Yes.
Yeah, that happens.
Oh.
Yeah.
Bonjour,
The singing
bonjour,
and-
bonjour, bonjour, bonjour.
Yeah, all of that happens. Every single thing.
There goes the oxen
Because
that I
you
see.
and everybody here already knows how that goes, I won't describe it. So, anyway, you set up, and Nelma is set
Who is
on the
Bella?
lap of her father, and you head off into the early morning dew of Reddingdale.
I just want to point out that I clean myself with prestidigitation.
Prestidigitation, yes.
That's the word. So I don't smell like tongue shit.
Very good point, yeah. And with that, we will be taking a slight break. At least us will be taking a break. For you, a new episode from the stars. Just
Get to the comments.
Cut the camera.
yeah, cut the camera, cut the feed!
Cut the camera, Ferb.